What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sunday Sports Club Podcast, a podcast all about sports told by a woman, and that woman is me. Hi, guys. I'm Allison Cooch, and today is a solo episode, which I have a love-hate relationship with. One, I love to gab, so like I can talk for hours and hours, but two, sometimes I forget that people are actually listening to what I'm about to say. So sometimes I just get super comfortable, and then after I record, I'm like, oh, I am overthinking everything. Like, did I say something wrong? Did I insult somebody? Did I offend somebody? And it's just like I get in my own head. Whereas when I'm listening or like talking with somebody else, like for example, if I do an episode with my husband, I can like process what I just said while he's talking. Does that make sense? That's just me. You guys, I have a lot of anxiety, and pregnancy has made it 10 times worse. With that being said, today is a solo episode, and I'm going to be recapping just kind of like where we're at in life and kind of 2026. We started off 2026. I keep saying we, like there's a friend in my pocket. I mean, there is a baby in my uterus, so I guess but I started off 2026 really wanting to like slow down this year and like actually enjoy it. I feel like I've been in like a go, like hustle culture. Like I need, like the more busy I am, the more successful I am, and just like not really taking time to like relax. And I am so craving just like, hey, I want to go to the beach today with my family, or hey, I want to go and instead of cooking dinner, like go to have a picnic, or I don't know, just like a slower life. And the beginning of 2026 could not have been more opposite. It started off by us going out to Aspen for the Olympic trials. And I had so much fun, and like I'm so grateful for these opportunities, but like I can still be grateful and like love and take these opportunities and be a little burnt out. That's not to say that Aspen was so much fun, and it was also coming off of Christmas break. But then after that, we wanted to go on a family trip because we haven't taken a family trip. And then after that, Isaac went to the national championship, and then Super Bowl happened, and then we went to Milan. So I kind of want to recap a little bit about Super Bowl and Milan because we were gone from our house for 14 days. And when you are 30 plus weeks pregnant, I didn't think I was going to get homesick because I had my daughter with us and I had my husband, but I kind of got a little homesick. So I want to reflect on like how much fun I had and like all the events and everything in a very positive way, while also being very realistic. So let's rewind to the beginning of February. Super Bowl was in San Francisco, and it was a great Super Bowl. I feel like some cities are meant to have big events. I think San Francisco held it really nicely. Hands down, my favorite Super Bowl I've ever been to in Las Vegas. I just feel like Las Vegas, like they know how to have all of the conferences and like they have all these expos, and like they're used to hosting very big groups of people. And then I went to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, and I'm like, oh, it's definitely a tinier city, and like where all these events going to be held, and like all these companies are trying to do activations, and they're just not the space for it. But I also love how it stimulates the economy for the smaller cities. Not like New Orleans is like a super small city, but like in contrast, like Las Vegas or San Francisco, you would say so. But we flew out to San Francisco, which is a super easy flight from Orange County. I think it's like 40 minutes. And we decided to bring our daughter along just because with me being so far along in pregnancy and just like not wanting to miss out on time with her, knowing like what our schedule was for Super Bowl, I was like, yeah, I definitely want to bring her. This is the most asked question we get is like, do we have help when it comes to our daughter? 100% yes. We hired help right around the time that I found out I was pregnant, and Isaac accepted a job with NFL Network. And the fact that like we also run our Airbnbs and we have social media and like all these other things, and we don't have a village where we live. We live in Southern California. The closest family to us is an hour and a half drive, and that's just one person. And then the next person is an hour flight, and then the next people are like a 3-hour flight. So we just don't have a village. And with some of these opportunities, it's like you kind of have to like take them now, or like it's now or never. That's kind of like a morbid way to look at it, is like it's now or never, but it does kind of feel that way, especially when it comes to a job like being a sports broadcaster. It's kind of like you have to build years of experience to continue working to like a higher position. Anyways, all of that. Why am I feeling insecure about saying I hire help? Like lots of people hire help. Anyways, that's just what social media will do. And when you have anxiety, it probably doesn't make it any better. But we did bring a nanny out to San Francisco with us and out to Milan, Italy with us, because whether or not you think social media is a job, we had to be at certain events at certain times. I do love the flexibility that social media gives me when it comes to being a mom and family life and personal life. But at the same time, I still want to treat it as a job. So like, I'm not going to show up to the Super Bowl with my daughter, as much as I think it would be a really cool experience for her that she's not even going to remember. I find that like I can have my daughter out for these experiences and still be able to be professional and show up and be on time and, I don't know, be professional in that aspect. So we did bring out help, and it was so nice because we actually got a lot of free time when we weren't at events or activations. And it was just kind of like a little family trip. And I'm just trying to soak in every single second I can with my daughter before my other daughter gets here, which I don't know if this is a second pregnancy thing, but I am in denial that I'm having a baby. And I'm not just having a baby. I'm having a baby in like, like weeks. Like if I went, like it wouldn't be surprised. Well, no, hopefully I wouldn't go into labor right now, but it's just very, very close. And I'm still in denial, probably because I've been so on the go that I haven't really processed it or like prepared for it at all. I was way more prepared for Scotty than I am for this pregnancy. And like, I have no excuse other than the fact that we've been traveling. So I've just been trying to soak up as much time as possible with our first daughter before our second daughter gets here. So Super Bowl was a ton of fun. I did not go out to a single party this year. Didn't go out to a single party. And I definitely pulled the pregnancy card. I don't pull the pregnancy card very often unless it's like my husband and I'm like, oh, I'm tired, or like, oh, I don't feel like, I don't know, cleaning the house. I'll pull the pregnancy card in that aspect. But when it comes to professional life, I do feel like there is such a stigma on like people look down on pregnant women as weak, which pisses me off. And so it makes me want to go against like how I actually am feeling and like quote unquote prove people wrong. And I'm sure so many women probably deal with it in the workplace, is like, I don't know, discrimination with like pregnancy, or even just discrimination with being a woman in general. So you won't catch me saying I'm tired, but if it is a optional party, I will not be in attendance. Hell, I can't even find something that fits my body. So, that was kind of like nice for me. Isaac did end up going to parties without me because one of his friends was in town. You guys, quick little story. I woke up at 2 a.m. and I look over at my bed and my husband is not there. So naturally, I go in and check his location. His location was at a hotel. But I felt a little bit better upon discovering what hotel it was at. It was at a one hotel. I'm like, okay, well, he can't be doing something that sketchy. And knowing he was with his best friend who was also married, I was like, what the fuck is he doing at 2 a.m. at a hotel? And then I start calling him and I'm like, hello, like no answer. I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna go back to sleep. Because I obviously trust my husband. Like I wouldn't have married him if I didn't trust him. I wake up at 4 a.m. and this man is still not next to me in bed. At that point, he had called me back and he had texted me and he was like, hey, we're just hanging out with some of like coworkers from his job. And I thought it was so funny because I was like, we could not be on more of a different wavelength. And the craziest part is that he actually had to go somewhere in the morning and I did not feel bad at all. He was a little hungover and I was like, I don't feel bad. And actually, I feel great. Besides the fact that I am in my third trimester. But I just thought that was really funny. His friend that he was with, his wife woke up because they have their daughter is 1, and she woke up to feed her daughter, and her husband texted her and said, "Don't worry, I'm at a woman's hotel room." And it's just so funny because had I told this story to somebody who's like maybe not in the most secure relationship, they'd probably be freaking out. They'd probably be bitching them out. I was like, I'm going back to sleep. And honestly, it's kind of nice having the bed to myself. But aside from that, we went to the Super Bowl so if you go to the Super Bowl, you can go to the Super Bowl with like a company, or you can obviously buy a ticket as like just a person. I mean, that is a very expensive ticket, but like if you are rooting for the team, obviously you can do that. And Isaac and I had the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl with the companies NBC and Visa, which was such a fun experience, and companies that I've dreamt of working with my entire life. I've worked with NBC in the capacity of like football before. I did a transcontinental tailgate where I flew from Kansas City to Brazil, from Brazil to Detroit, and it was the craziest 36 hours. Yes. 36 hours of my life, but I had so much fun. And so it was cool to work with NBC again. And I just like working with companies on a reoccurring basis, because you can build a connection and like you get to know the people. And I don't know, I just like really value that, especially in like a work instance that doesn't really feel like very traditional. I don't have coworkers. So it's really nice to be able to like see familiar faces. And then from Super Bowl, literally went to Super Bowl. It was so much fun. The game was fun. Wasn't as good of a game as I was kind of hoping for, but Seahawks won. Had a blast. Isaac and I had a blast. Get home that night. Immediately start packing, because Monday afternoon, I say afternoon, but it was like kind of morning at that point. At 12, we fly from San Francisco to Milan, Italy, which is a 12-hour flight or 11-hour flight. It was a long day, very long day. And also being pregnant probably contributed to that. But I was so excited. The second we landed in Italy, I was like, let's go. Like, I want to go out. I want to explore the city. I want to like experience it, because like this job it is a privilege to have this job. While I've worked my ass off to get to where I'm at, I understand that it is a very big privilege. And I could not be more grateful for when this job takes me to places that I've never been before. And I've never been to Italy, and I was so excited. And going to the Olympics and like attending Olympic events, it's like such a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I immediately landed, and I was like, I don't give a shit if I'm pregnant and tired. Like, I'm going to put that to the back of my mind, and we're just going to go, 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 go. And that's exactly what we did. Literally, we landed and we immediately went back to the hotel, showered, changed our clothes, unpacked, got our daughter settled, got her food, let her take a quick nap. And me and Isaac were out the door, and we went to a women's hockey game. And going to these events that you get to watch on TV, insane in person. Like figure skating, we got to go to a figure skating. We got to go to mixed figure skating. And it was the craziest event to watch in person, because, I mean, these people train literally. Some people start these sports that they go to the Olympics for when they're like 2 or 3. I'm like, what should Scotty be an Olympian in? But watching this in person, it was like, I was like, USA, like patriotic, like literally American flag, everything. I just felt like, wow, these people have worked their asses off. Like, they're representing our country. It just was like a really cool environment to be in. And we're in mother freaking Italy. So such a cool, crazy experience. And that's kind of like the gist of like traveling, all of that. Now we'll jump into like some Q&A aspects, of like the logistics of traveling with a child, traveling with my husband. It is really cool. My husband and I have different social media platforms, as you guys know. Like, we post our own stuff. Like, he posts more like about sports. I post more about motherhood and like whatever I want to post, And I really like and enjoy that we have very separate social media accounts because it allows us to like do whatever we want and like post whatever we want, versus if we had a dual or like a partner social media, I feel like it would be like way more difficult to like post what I actually want to like post. And so it's really fun though, because he still gets it and like he can still like record for me. And like, I don't know, it's like the best parts of having my husband as a coworker without him actually being like in, I don't know, like in my passion, if that makes sense. As a mom, I kind of feel like a broken record whenever I say this, but life is busy, and each day I go into it expecting like a certain routine and like this is how the day is going to look, and then it's like bam, like something unexpected happens, or my daughter is sick, or I don't know, just life happens. And I feel like life has been happening more so as a parent and as a pregnant parent. And something that I feel like I go into every single year with is I want to be better about like eating healthy, meal planning, actually using the groceries in my fridge. And then every year life gets busier and busier, and then I get pregnant and everything kind of falls apart. So what finally clicked for me is realizing that meals don't have to look a specific way. They just have to fit your life. And that's what Marley Spoon does really well. What I love is that Marley Spoon actually adapts with you. So some nights you cook, some nights you eat, some nights you heat, and some nights you just need dinner done really freaking fast. And they have options for all of it so that meals fit your schedule and not the other way around. And it helps me eat well without overthinking it. Everything is chef designed, made with quality ingredients, and balanced enough so I feel good about it. With Marley Spoon, they give you over 100 recipes to choose from each week. We're talking comforting classics like chicken Milanese with cucumber arugula salad, to fresh balanced dishes like everything bagel salmon with truffle chive potatoes and green beans, all made with quality ingredients. There's something for every single mood. And Marley Spoon has tons of options in the marketplace, from meal shortcuts and drinks to fresh groceries you can add on every single week. And for those nights when you need dinner done like yesterday, Marley Spoon's prepared meals are exactly what they sound like. They're very convenient, they're still super delicious, and they're on the table in minutes. And these are lifesavers when I really just don't feel like cooking, or I get to the end of the day and I'm like, wow, it is bedtime and I still haven't even started dinner. It's for those nights. You'll find these on every weekly menu. And if you've got those extra few minutes, they also have some really good 20-minute options too. My personal favorite hack are the tray baked dinners. Literally throw everything onto one tray and boom, you're done. They literally even include the tray. So this new year, fast track your way to eating well with Marley Spoon. Head to marleyspoon.com/offer/Sunday for up to 25 free meals. That's right, up to 25 free meals with Marley Spoon. That's marleyspoon.com/offer/Sunday for up to 25 free meals. This new year, I have really been prioritizing taking time for myself when it comes to my mental health. And with my mental health comes my fitness. And I'm not talking about like the number on the scale or how I look in the mirror. I'm talking about just like, I don't know, working out, taking time for myself, being active, and living an active lifestyle. So I want to take a second to talk about the brand new Peloton cross-training tread powered by Peloton IQ. It's Peloton's most elevated equipment with real-time guidance and endless ways to move alone or with your favorite instructors. It's cross-training reimagined with features designed to help you reach your goals effortlessly. And Peloton helps you achieve more in less time too. So what helps me stay on track are being able to diversify my workouts or even do shorter workouts. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I probably only have 15 minutes left in my daughter's nap. And being able to find a workout that fits that time is such a game changer. They also have features that will help you plan, stay motivated, and achieve peak performance so that you can let yourself run, lift, sculpt, push, and go while Peloton handles the rest. Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching too. So they have features like goal setting and weight suggestions so that you're always making new progress. Their new movement tracking camera allows Peloton IQ to count your reps and correct your form in real time. Literally is that a personal trainer in your house. So it takes out the guesswork out of your workout so that you can train safer, lift smarter, and make every single rep count. And there's also variety with the swivel screen. So you can go on a 45-minute run on the tread or a 5-minute stretch off of it with one smooth spin of a swivel screen. It offers endless ways to train for a very well-rounded routine, no matter how busy you are, and it fits every single lifestyle. So let yourself run, lift, sculpt, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training tread at onepeloton.com. Isaac was actually supposed to record this episode with me, and our daughter ended up getting sick. So Isaac's at home with her, and I'm going to try and answer these to the best of my ability. And he's just not going to be here to defend himself. When did we realize that the Super Bowl and Milan trip to the Olympics were actually happening? It was, I think, in December that we found out that we were going to Super Bowl and then we were going to be continuing on to Italy. So that's actually a pretty good amount of time before a trip. Some trips that we get to go on are like a week in advance, and I'm not going to complain about that because it's like we're going on a trip, but we get this opportunity. Like, it's a very privileged, but it does have, you sometimes have to fly by the seat of your pants. And we have had to like skip out on like other things in life because like last minute trips. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a great thing, but it is a thing. How many flights did it take to get everywhere? We flew from Orange County to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco to Paris, and then from Paris to Milan, and then from Milan back to Paris, and then Paris back to Orange County or LA. So quite a few flights. And the fact of the matter is, like, those weren't even our first flights in the month of February. But kind of crazy. I haven't even looked up at how many miles that would like contribute to like my flying account. But when people are like, oh my God, you're flying like comfort, or you're like, oh my God, you're flying first class. It's like the amount of miles you rack up when you fly cross country. I think last year I went to, I don't know, like taking flights, also having a Delta American Express credit card, like we're racking up the miles, just like paying for everything on that card. And it's really nice because then we actually get to like treat traveling as leisure, which is very important because when you are expected to like fly 12 hours and land and immediately go to an event, it's very nice to be able to like have active recovery on a flight. How is flying while pregnant right now? It's interesting. I don't really acknowledge pregnancy in those ways. Like, I'll complain to my husband about it, but like in hindsight, I'm like, oh, like I don't remember it being like super hard or like super difficult. I do know that the Paris airport, when you're traveling internationally, and I mean, it's probably just this airport, but like you had to go through a certain amount of, you have to go through customs when you land from Milan to get into Paris. And then you're stuck in your terminal. And we had a 5-hour layover while waiting for our flight to go back to LA. And there was one food spot and they didn't have hot food. And I think that was my biggest struggle throughout traveling and traveling internationally was food while like during the travel process, which sounds like so dumb, but I just was like, I just want a hot meal. I don't care what like genre it is, what nationality. I just want a hot meal. And there was no hot meal. So that was like my biggest like problem when it came to flying while pregnant. That and swelling. But I feel like I'm just swelling because just the amount of weeks I am pregnant and less of flying itself. Did we overpack or underpack? And did we forget anything? Didn't forget anything, which makes sense because I am a chronic overpacker. I would rather struggle getting 4 bags up to my hotel room and like having to worry about them, like getting them through baggage and all of that. I would rather stress about that and have that be a difficulty. Although I have a husband who's, you know, very capable of like helping me out. I would rather deal with that than getting somewhere and feeling like I don't have like the right attire or I don't have the right things packed or, all of that. And just being a parent in general, I overpack like drastically. Again, chronic overpacker. Although I was a chronic overpacker when my daughter was an infant, like it was a problem almost, like to the point where I was like, well, what if I need this on the plane? My plane bag which has gotten easier because she's a toddler now. My plane bag for her is basically like snacks, activities, which is like crayons, markers, and coloring stuff, headphones. She does have a travel iPad. We don't do screen time at home, and I will never probably get my daughter an iPad for our house until she's like maybe like of school age and it's more of a computer. But when it comes to traveling or like a long road trip over 2 hours, I think that screen time should be utilized. Like it is there to help me. And it was very necessary because like for our flight back from Paris to LA, we sat on the tarmac for 3 hours before our 12-hour flight. And I was like, wow, this is like really unfortunate. And of course, she starts getting antsy and just like traveling with a toddler. Like she just, wants to get up and walk around and do stuff. But I have found that like if I overpack her in terms of snacks and activities, I'm set. When she was a baby, I was like, she might need a Band-Aid. I'm like, never used a Band-Aid before in my life. Like for a while, I carried around a garlic smasher because she wasn't eating solid foods, but like I would give her purees or like I would smash her food or make it super soft. And I would bring that like on a flight. Like that's not really necessary. You can just do it with your hand. It's interesting because I wonder when baby number 2 arrives, like how much the baby number 2 is going to be baby number 2. If you are picking up what I'm putting down, like how much do you just kind of throw out the window when you have your second kid, and like what is actually important, and where do you just kind of like, oh, like I'm going to grab some Cheerios, put them in my pocket, and like we're headed out the door. Like as long as I have a diaper, like I'll figure the rest out, Who was the better travel partner on this trip? Isaac was such a trooper. Okay, so now it's actually coming back to my mind. I got super nauseous when traveling back from Italy to California. If I don't get enough sleep, it makes me very nauseous. And that night I could not fall asleep. I had the worst pregnancy insomnia. Literally tried taking Unisom, still could not fall asleep. Had 2 hours of sleep and then had to wake up and have like this long ass travel day. And in the car ride to the airport, I was like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. And I had my, good little anti-nausea prescription right there, but I don't like taking meds when I'm pregnant unless it's like, if I have a fever, I'll definitely take medication. If something's actually wrong, I'll definitely take medication. But like a fear of throwing up, I'm like, do I actually want to take this? So I was like holding off on it. But Isaac was such a trooper in getting all 50 of our bags through TSA and like taking care of our daughter, who maybe I'm giving off a hormone or something, but has been like, I just want my parents to carry me every single place. And I just want to be like, she's just in a koala phase, I think I can call it. And so I'm going to say Isaac was the better travel partner on this trip. I think I was more of like a child that he had to help take care of me. But one of my love languages, or like my utmost love language, is acts of service. And if I feel taken care of, I feel so loved and like cared for. And he did a great job throughout Italy, like making me feel taken care of. And like, even when traveling, especially with our daughter, I get really anxious, just like getting into cars with unknown people, as one would. But more specifically because like we have to put her car seat into like a taxi, and then I just want to make sure it's like secure enough, and then I have to put her in, and then I have to strap her in, and so it just takes a little bit more time. And like jumping into a taxi, and that makes me anxious. And he just did such a good job of like making me feel like supported, taken care of, like talking to the taxi as much as he could because of the language barrier. But yeah, I hope everybody can feel like taken care of when they're taken care of in general, like when it comes to their marriage, but more specifically like pregnancy and traveling. Like he really took off my mental load, and he should listen to this because I feel like I don't do a great job of being words of affirmation. Sometimes words of affirmation I feel really awkward in. Anyways, now we'll answer some questions about NFL moments. Did we run into any unexpected people throughout Super Bowl? Super Bowl is that week that if you've been in the NFL or you've been in and around the league, or I don't know, you're just part of that world, you are going to run into so many people old teammates, current teammates if you're currently on a team, coaches, their wives, family members, broadcasters, social media. Like, it has become such a event, and there's so many activations with brands. Like, so many brands go to the Super Bowl, and I want to say it, like, the surge really happened after COVID years. Is that I don't think it was this way. I mean, I'm sure there were parties and like events and brand activations, but like, I really feel like the idea of sending influencers to the Super Bowl has become so big over the past 3 years. And it's really interesting to see, but I don't hate it. Like, I love it because I do feel like it's creating this, like, anybody can watch sports. Like, you don't have to have like the certain criteria. You don't have to be able to name 5 players, like the toxic, like, oh, like, you can't be a fan unless you've been a fan for like a really long time. And I like the fact that influencers or content creators are kind of like bringing that in. And I really like that. But when it comes to running into unexpected people, you are going to run into literally everybody when it comes to like Super Bowl and Super Bowl events. And it's really, really cool. And it's something that I look forward to every single year. All right, you guys, I have to put you onto something that I am genuinely wearing all the time right now because, as you guys know, I am pregnant, and comfort is literally everything for me these days, especially pregnant, but like, I like being comfortable in general. And Roback has such a go-to. They just restocked their mock neck, which sold out in just over a week last time. It's one of those pieces that you can throw on over literally anything and instantly you feel a little bit more put together. It's lightweight, it's incredibly comfortable, and extremely soft. It comes in 2 different colorways with a really cute embroidery details. There is an ivory version with a small American flag and a navy one with the Roback logo on the front. And while we're on the topic, Roback also just launched biker short sets for the first time, which are perfect as the first layer under the mock neck. When I tell you these are so good, I'm not exaggerating. They are soft, they're supportive, and really flattering, which I feel like those 3 are just not always the easiest to find. And I love throwing on the biker short set and layering the mock neck over it. It makes getting dressed in the morning very easy, and I'm ready for whatever the day turns into, whether that's errands, a walk, being a mom on the go, chasing after a toddler. So if you guys are interested in checking it out, you can use code Sunday on roback.com for a generous 20% off your first order through the end of this week. That's spelled RHOBACK.com, roback.com. These days, I'm all about quality over quantity, especially when it comes to my closet. If it's not well made and versatile, it's just not worth it to me. And that's honestly why I love Quince. So the fabrics feel elevated, the cuts are thoughtful, and the pricing actually makes sense. If you guys are new to hearing about Quince, let me introduce you to them because Quince makes high quality wardrobe staples using premium fabrics like 100% European linen, 100% silk, and organic cotton poplin. They have lightweight cotton cashmere sweaters, which are perfect for changing seasons, and can't miss seasonal colors and prints for spring. Versatile, well-made pieces that make getting dressed extremely simple. Quince works directly with safe, ethical factories and cuts out the middleman so that you're not paying for brand markup or fancy retail stores, literally just quality clothing. Quince clothing is consistently rated 4.5 to 5 stars by thousands of customers, and they're real people wearing these pieces every single day and actually loving them. So stop waiting to build a wardrobe you actually want. You don't need a closet full of options. You just need pieces that work. Right now, go to quince.com/Sunday for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's a full year to wear it and love it, and you will. Now available in Canada too, so don't stop settling for clothes that don't last. Go to QUINCE quince.com/Sunday for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Sunday. Best random interaction of the weekend. This is probably unexpected, but Isaac and I thought we had to go to a certain event, or like we thought it was going to take way longer. And then we ended up getting off like super early. And Isaac he ran by the Full House, but it's not really what the Full House was, if that makes sense. Like what they showed in the intro of Full House were the painted ladies. It's painted ladies, right? It's not painted women, painted ladies, which is like the row of houses in San Francisco that are like notorious. And he thought he had ran by them. And I was like, no, you didn't run by them. And so because we got off a little bit early, we took an unexpected family trip. We got our daughter. We had rented a car that week just so we could like, me and getting into like random Ubers with our daughter, like I just don't like doing that. So we rented a car for the week and we drove around the city a little bit, which there's so much traffic in San Francisco, but we went to the park across from the Painted Ladies and we got coffee from this coffee truck and we just had ourselves a really relaxing afternoon. And afterwards we got lunch and we stopped by like this ice cream parlor, a very old fashioned ice cream parlor. And we sat at the counter and it was like one of my favorite memories of the week. One, because like it was really cool just like being there. Like we've been to I think 5 Super Bowls in a row and it never wears off. Like I never get to one and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be here. Like I'm grateful every single year to be able to have the opportunity to go to Super Bowl and just being able to share moments with our daughter while still working. It just feels very special to me. The weird moment. Next question. The weird moment where you realize the NFL world is actually small. Everybody and anybody in the NFL or around the NFL knows everybody. It is actually such a small world, and it's something that I really miss about my husband being an active player, but that we've also started to realize he can benefit from now as a sports broadcaster and working for NFL Network, is that we don't have like this huge friend group. Because right when Isaac and I graduated college, like it jumped into NFL and like you move away from all your friends and family, and we moved to California, which is really far from everybody. And so it's like hard to keep up with friendships, and people are moving at different speeds and you're going at a different speed. And so when Isaac entered this NFL world, it was like an immediate family that we were welcomed into and one that we were able to be part of for 7 years. And then when that ended and he retired, it felt like, oh shoot, like we are not part of that family anymore. But now that he's a sports broadcaster and even just like being a few years removed from the NFL, you realize like it's still a family and you're still in it. And it's one that I like love and I'm like super fond of. And it's so fun to see my husband being in a different capacity still in the NFL world with like, he worked the red carpet at the NFL honors with SiriusXM. And he was just so good at talking. Like this man could talk to a wall. And I don't know, it's just like so interesting because guys that like he's played with are still playing, and getting to see them, it just feels like, I don't know, it feels so good. So there's that. In terms of like non-sports Italy moments, I will say like all of the Olympic events were in the evening. We didn't go to anything that was before 7 p.m., which was great because like time change, like our 7 p.m. was like noon. So that was really nice. But we also got to have a lot of downtime and I do not regret bringing my daughter at all. Granted, we had help. So I have to say that out there and like put that out there and like, what is it? Disclose that. So like if we didn't have help, it would have been 10 times harder. We wouldn't have been able to bring our daughter had it not been for, our nanny. And I'm super grateful for her. And I don't feel bad about saying that. Like, I don't feel bad. She is like the biggest blessing into me and Isaac's life. And it allows us to like work and then leave work at work. And when we get home, we're able to be fully present. And I'm so grateful for her. but we had a lot of downtime, which I actually really enjoy. Like, we hired like our nanny, bringing her out of her world. I acknowledge, like, nobody wants to leave their house for 14 days to like go and work. And every chance that I got, one, I wanted to spend time with my daughter, but two, I was like, you go out and explore, you go out and like experience things, like in San Francisco and in Milan. So the days that were like every day, we didn't really have to work during the day. Sure, like we had like deliverables that like we had to edit and like random stuff, but like take an hour or two to try and get that stuff out of the way. And then like, hey, you go explore Italy, you go explore Milan. And then we got to do the same thing as well. Best meal we had in Italy, Isaac actually has a video of me eating lasagna. I was having a very hard day just with like some like personal life stuff. And then we went to this like really good Italian restaurant that Isaac had researched. And I'm having a Braxton Hicks contraction right now. They're just so tight and like uncomfortable. Anyways, Isaac researched this really good Italian restaurant. He was like, I need authentic Italian food. And I was like, we're in Italy. Like, how much more authentic does it get? But we went to this like off the beaten path restaurant, and they had this really good lasagna that came at a time where like I was in the like climax of my feelings of like what was going on in my personal life. And I ate it and it was so good. And I was like, nothing matters. Like, I'm here with my family. I'm pregnant. I got this lasagna. I literally started sobbing over some lasagna, but that was the best meal that I had the entire time I was in Italy. And it actually made me want to go back like for a family trip sometime in the future, whenever that is. But that was definitely the best meal. Most chaotic restaurant experience was the first day we were there. We ended up sleeping in until like 11 a.m., which I'm not necessarily like the best morning person. Like, I like getting up though. And I like making the most out of my day. So getting up at 11, I was like, oh my God, we have to hurry up. Like, we gotta go. And I'm starving. Isaac's starving. We got Scotty a croissant, but like that's only gonna hold her over for so long. So I remember getting into, because we were staying a little bit outside the city, so driving into the city and like immediately like, I need food. And where our taxi dropped us off, we were like, we're eating at that restaurant. And that just was very chaotic because it was like we were sitting on the street and like I didn't even know if they had good food. I was like, I just need a noodle in my mouth. It ended up being like a really fun experience, but very chaotic. Who navigated the city better? We really didn't navigate a ton. I feel like whenever I travel, I go on TikTok and I'm like, best places to eat in Milan, best places to shop in Milan. And I love social media for that reason. It is like such a game changer being able to like look at people's real interaction in that area. And I think it's made traveling like 10 times better for us, being able to like look at social media and find out like where are the hidden spots, like where are the places to walk around. My favorite part of traveling is going to an area that has a bunch of shops, tourists. Like I like interacting with a bunch of people and just like, where is like the go-to spot? And then this will be the last question before we wrap things up. Did we learn anything new about each other when traveling? Isaac and I, we have lived a super privileged life when it comes to traveling. And I want to acknowledge that not everybody gets that opportunity because not everybody marries somebody or gets to get in the NFL. So Isaac and I were faced with like funds to leisurely travel very early on in our life. And I honestly attribute that to being why I was so ready for kids, because we traveled so much. This travel like was very similar to any of our other trips, except like with a toddler, it's just a little bit different, right? Like you just have to like be able to pivot a little bit more. You definitely have to prioritize her needs over like what you want to do. Like if I'm super hungry, like I can wait another 30 minutes to find like a really good restaurant, but like she's a toddler, like she needs food. You need to like feed her at like, you know, like the increments every single day. So I feel like that has kind of challenged us when it comes to traveling, but like not really, because she's just such an easygoing girl, and she's been traveling she took her first flight at 6 weeks old. So like not a huge ton, but like Isaac and I have traveled so much, and it's probably my biggest recommendation that like if you have the opportunity to travel anywhere, not even like internationally, like quote unquote cool places, like if you get the opportunity to go to like a new city you've never been to, I would say take it. Whenever I've traveled, I have grown more as a person and just learned more about myself, and I love traveling, and I recommend it to everybody if they get the means to do so. Even if it's like a road trip to a different city that's an hour away. And I think that it's also caused me and Isaac to grow a lot in our relationship, and more so in our marriage, because you're put in these like different circumstances, and it's like you have to choose. So that's all I'll say. But I'm super grateful. I haven't said that enough during this podcast. I know that this job isn't very relatable, or like some people might be listening. They're like, wow, like I would really love to go on a trip this year. And here's Allie complaining about all of these trips. And I just want to acknowledge, like, I understand that I'm coming from a place of privilege, and I'm coming from a place of like, I don't know. I just feel like I have to dance around it. Social media this right now is like super scary. Like I mean well, and like I'm not scared of anything, and like I'll address anything. But I also understand like people aren't living this life. And so when I say all this stuff, I say it like two things can be true. I don't know if I'm know what I'm saying. I would say I'm a huge empath, and I already regret everything I just said. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave a 5-star review on podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you're listening on. And then tune in every Sunday wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. I think I want to come out with an episode just like about third trimester and pregnancy in general here pretty soon. And we're just expecting a baby here pretty soon too. So like any questions you guys have about, I don't know, maybe fear of throwing up, maybe how like we're preparing for a transition from 1 to 2. I actually don't have the answer to that. So if you guys have an answer for that, let me know. But I do want to come out with like a parenting or like pregnancy episode here pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that on Sunday Sports Club podcast, social media. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this episode. And with that being said, I'll see you next Sunday.